Today's This Is Crazy Love is a little bit different. We're doing this in the visual medium. I'm not writing tonight. The reason I'm not writing is I'm telling the story of a friend of mine, actually a friend of a friend, who I first met in 1993. It was a film studies class at Southwest Missouri State University, which is now MSU. And I remember Matt walked in and he sat on the front row and he had this laptop with him, which was kind of a weird thing because nobody carried laptops back then, back in the old days. And he had this laptop with him and he would hold the screen up to his face to read what was on the screen. And I didn't quite understand what was going on. Found out later that Matt is legally blind, and I'm not sure all the ins and outs, but I know that I understand that he can see peripheral on one side, but can't really see anything straight on with the other eye. So the story goes that Matt was working at the local cable company with my friend David. And David was sitting there working on a shot, setting up the camera or something, and the monitor was there, and Matt, a person who is legally blind, walks by and says, "Marquez, you're out of focus." And Marquez looks at Matt and says, what are you talking about? I mean, how can you even see that? He says, and then I went over and I looked at the camera, and sure enough, I was out of focus. Now, I don't know if I remember that story correctly. I don't know if that story was told in the first place just as a story or if it's the truth. And I don't really care. It's just a really fun story. And if it was a standalone story, I would be more likely to believe that it's not necessarily 100% true. But Matt decided at some point to go from being someone that worked in the film and television industry to being a chef. And then he started working with another friend of mine, Aaron. I wrote about Aaron a month or two ago. I keep up with Matt on Facebook, and his rants and his ramblings and his commentary and his critiques are absolute joy for me. He makes me laugh so hard with his observations of the world. He pokes at me in my easy come, easy go, life is not really that difficult mentality, as he points out things that are important for us to consider as it relates to people with different levels of ability to be able to even walk down a street. And, I've probably had 3 conversations with Matt in my life. I always first think of him as the guy that was sitting on the front row in that film studies class. Then I think of him as the guy that told Marquez that camera was out of focus. But I am giving This Is Crazy Love 2016 today to Matt Sievert because he inspires me. He shows me that I can do anything that I set my mind to. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I opened up social media tomorrow morning and found out that Matt had decided that the next stage of his life, he's going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Why not? Why wouldn't he? So today's This Is Crazy Love in audio and video fashion is for my friend of a friend. Let's call each other friends. My friend Matt.